One of the biggest mistakes that I see in modern day relationships nowadays is confusing reality with fantasy. I think a lot of us walking into long-term relationships and marriages with this fantasy of what it's going to look like. And when we're in, like years later, we are hit with the reality. And a lot of us were not prepared for that. And I also think that plays a part as to why 50% of marriages nowadays are ending up in divorce. Social media has a lot to do with it. We are consistently comparing our relationships and our lives to TikTok couples, Instagram couples, romantic comedies, highlight reels. A perfect example is nowadays it's very tough for someone to make a proposal and not think on how that's going to look on TikTok and IG, and how can I make this go viral? I want to be reposted on all of these pages. And what that does to us is create a standard that is false, that is very fantasy-like, that is scripted, that is purposely created for those type of mediums of social media. And for others who doesn't have that insight, when their relationships do not look like that, they panic. Let's go even deeper. A lot of times when we enter relationships and we enter marriages, we have a very skewed idea of what it's going to look like. It's going to be endless passion and romance, lots and lots of sex, understanding, shared values, vacations, and all of that. But we never really talk about what happens if somebody gets sick. When we say our vows, we say till death do us part. But is that really true? 50% of marriages end in divorce. Let's keep that in mind. And when the reality hits, a lot of us crumble because our idea of what this relationship is going to look like is not what's happening currently in the present. Postpartum, somebody not working, all of those reality checks that we don't plan for and we generally do not speak of. And that is what happens. And for me, the biggest issue is those that rush to marriage. We've dated for 6 months, we dated for a year, and now we are married. I know. There are success stories of people doing that, and for them it works long term. They are not the norm. They are simply the exception to the rule. Based on the research, those that get married within 3 years have the highest rate of divorce. And a lot of that is due to the fantasy that they've created with this person in those short moments, and them moving a little bit faster in an attempt to continue that fantasy, and then being hit with a reality that they couldn't deal with because it went against everything they thought a marriage was going to be. When you do rush, you miss a lot of things. You don't really get to know who the person is. You're unaware of their gambling issues, their alcohol issues. You're unaware of certain traumas or certain health concerns that may shift the way that you view them or even interact with them. So that's where I tend to say, if you're in a relationship, do not only speak of the fantasy, but also speak of the reality. Go talk to those that have done it. Read books, update your knowledge so you know exactly what you're walking into and what could go right and what could go wrong, and exactly how to overcome those things. Recently, I had a couple where one said, I don't think we should be together anymore. And to their partner's surprise, they was like, what are you talking about? And keep in mind, this couple have been together for about 10 years. So the partner responded and said, the butterflies, it's like they're gone. I haven't experienced them in years. And I just started laughing. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, because the butterflies being gone is not a problem. That is simple biology. Dopamine naturally fades after the honeymoon phase. And what replaces it is something deeper, something greater, something stronger, and that's stability. long-term bonding, oxytocin, accepting each person for who they are, building healthy habits. Those are the things that fortifies a relationship, not the butterflies. Healthy couples don't chase constant passion because they realize there's a time and place for that. There's a moment for that. And that the passion is also fleeting. Instead, what they do is create intimacy in the ordinary things. Folding laundry, cooking dinner, running errands together, going for a walk, sitting down and talking, watching Netflix, sending each other reels. Is finding the intimate moments that they can consistently build and lean toward each other, as opposed to the big gestures. The second mistake is expecting your partner to meet all of your needs. You want your partner to be your best friend, your therapist, your lover, your gym partner, your life coach, your foodie person, your like come on. Your partner's job is to be your partner. But society has created the soulmate myth. And nowadays it's crushing relationships. It's expecting your partner to play every single role within your circle, within your needs. And their inability to do so constructively creates an issue for you. It's perfectly okay to have people outside of your partner that fulfill certain needs of yours within the constraints and the boundaries of the relationship, of course. If you're a foodie, it's perfectly okay to have a friend who's also a foodie that enjoys going to different restaurants and trying new recipes. Your partner doesn't have to do that. If you're a gym goer, a gym girly, or a gym melly, I don't know, a gym bro, it's perfectly okay to have a group of friends that engage in those activities with you. It doesn't have to be your partner. And you shouldn't punish or feel negatively towards your partner because they cannot play those roles. Again, our partner's job is to be our partner. Yes, at times they can switch hats and be present for us in different capacities, but it's also on us to build a network that caters to our needs and to our survival and to our interests. Independence and individuality is also needed in long-term relationships. It allows our partner to develop new eyes for us, and it also allows our partner to not feel burdened by always having to engage in all of the roles that you seek in life. Just keep that in mind, please. Third mistake, which to me is like the biggest one, is not listening. Listening isn't just about the words. It's about the emotions that are underneath the words. It's about what I am trying to convey to you without saying it. When you stop trying to win an argument and you start trying to understand, conflict shifts. You stop having the same argument on repeat and you actually build trust. Just because you can repeat what I just said doesn't mean that you were listening to me. It just means that you heard what I said. Listening requires for you to step into my shoes and experience and see my perspective and be able to understand what I am feeling in those moments. It's not about who's right or wrong. Listening is about understanding your experience from your perspective and validating that. A lot of times what's happening with couples is what I call a tennis match. It's bang, 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 right? I say one thing, you respond, then I respond to you. Nobody's really listening and nobody's actually processing. And that creates more conflict in the relationship. And let me just remind you that 69% of conflicts cannot be solved. They go unresolved, and that's because not everything needs to be solved. Some things just needs to be managed. The last mistake is mistaking a love story for a life partnership. Till death do us part, huh? Falling in love is easy, but staying in love? Come on, man. And building a life? That is the hard part. And a lot of times we tend to seek a love story because it feeds that fantasy. It gives us a story. Swept off my feet, right? Like it gives insight to the Disney movies that we all experience. But again, a love story is short term. It might be full of passion and intensity, aka sexual attraction, but it doesn't last. Versus a life partnership, which requires that I am accepting you for who you are. I am choosing to be with you. And within a life partnership, you will experience a multitude of different love stories during your path together. And that is the major difference. Healthy couples make the shift from fairy tales to teamwork. They see themselves as teammates, not just lovers. They have shared values, they have shared goals, they have shared responsibility, and they understand those are the things that creates longevity. Those are the things that allow them to till death do us part. That's the beauty of a life partnership. I really think that if people really went into a relationship seeking a life partnership and knew how to screen for that, the divorce rate would not be so high. So again, the 4 biggest mistakes is confusing reality with fantasy, expecting your partner to be your everything, not truly listening, and clinging to the love story instead of building a partnership. Love doesn't die because passion fades. Love dies because couples do not adapt and couples are not educating themselves on what it takes to actually make a relationship work. With that being said, I hope this video has been very informational and worth your listen. If you do like this, please comment, please like, please share. I am trying to build out this channel, and let me know what other topics that you guys would be interested into. Until next time, talk to Mac out. Peace.